Guitar tips, just the tips, just for you. Guitar tips. Hello and welcome to Guitar Tips. My name is Adam Levy. This is Guitar Tips. The theme song is it's a little bit like the Brady Bunch or Gilligan's Island, these old TV shows that used to tell you basically the premise of the show in the theme song. So if you're just tuning in for the first time, you wouldn't be lost or confused. The Guitar Tips theme is a lot shorter than the Gilligan's Island theme, which I think has like 6 verses or something. So, but still, the important information is there. It's about the guitar. So it's tips, meaning it's not lessons. Tips is kind of twofold in its meaning. One is that there's suggestions, guitar suggestions. It's also tip as in tip of the iceberg. And I hope that you will take them as that and know that below that there's a whole bunch more stuff that you could explore on your own. And that's also when I say just the tips, just for you. That also is, saying when I say it's just for you, it means that you can make of them what you will. Everyone who watches these will get something a little bit different out of them. So that's the just for you part. I don't mean to say that they're privately just for you. In fact, quite the opposite. I hope that they will be useful to all kinds of players and universal in a certain way. And as such, I hope that you will share them. I was pretty excited last time I checked. There's something like 700 and something or other subscribers. And I know a couple months ago we just had 500. So my dream is to get to 1,000 by the end of this year. And that seems to be happening in a pretty organic way. So I'm happy about that. Thank you for sharing these. I don't have a Facebook page, but if you like these, you can share them on your Facebook. I am on Twitter. My handle on Twitter is Adam Levy Music without any spaces or punctuation. It's just Adam Levy Music. And I'm on Instagram at, this is a little more confusing, string_juggler_, like string juggler, but with these underscore marks. So you can find me there, say hello, and well, there you go. I appreciate you sharing these if you like them. So on with the episode. This is episode number 58, and the title of this episode is There's Always More Juice. There's always more juice. And what that's about is things that we practice. It's easy to look at pieces that we practice or technical things that we practice in kind of a to-do list or checklist kind of way. Like, okay, I did that. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And I would encourage you to go back to instead of going to the next thing, keep working on the thing you've been working on, and see if there's maybe some more juice in the lemon that you can squeeze out of that initial thing that you're working on, rather than just trying to move on next. And this idea came to me out of a couple of things that I've been working on in the past week. One is this Ted Green material that I talked about in the previous episode. That's episode number 57, Dig Ted Green. You can look back at that one. In that episode, I play a little bit of this worksheet that he wrote. I can't even quite read what it says here when he wrote it, but I believe it's in the late 80s. Yeah, looks like 88. And it's called Tenths. I'll show it to you. It's called Tenths and Inner Pedal. 3-note Baroque harmony. And so I played the first line of that, which is this example number 1. It goes something like this. 2, So that's a beautiful little thing. It's just eight little blocks of harmony. It's tenths. That means these outside voices are moving. Excuse me. So this is a tenth interval. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a tenth. We're in the key of E. I'm a little bit out of frame here. That's a tenth interval. And as he moves these, there's a pedal in the middle. So in the first 4 chords, there's a B pedal. Now there's an E pedal in these. So as the outside voices move, this one note remains constant. So that's beautiful. You could play that and be perfectly happy and learn something and delight yourself and delight anyone within earshot. But if you look down at the bottom of the page, Ted has written, his handwriting might be hard to read. It says, now please do examples 1 through 3 in the key of G. On the worksheet, they're written in the key of E originally. So do examples 1 through 3 in the key of G. Later, if you find yourself sufficiently attracted to all these clear, bright colors, try the following key orders on each example. In example 1, he says try E flat, G flat, B flat, low and or high, meaning it may be possible to play them low on the neck as well as in upper octave. And he goes on and to suggest some different keys for different etudes. And then at the bottom, he says something that I really like, which is it's a lot of work, but you'll sure be friendly with the material. Friendly with the material. Yes, Ted. Ted was very friendly with lots of material. But the point is, I'm sure lots of people will just look at this worksheet and play it as it is and either not read the note at the bottom or ignore it or forget it or whatever. But there's plenty more juice here, you know. You do this in different keys as he suggests. You could try it on different string sets. You could try sustaining, you know, even though it's written that you re-articulate, you know, maybe you actually sustain that middle note. Maybe you break it up, you know. You know, in other words, there's lots of more music to be made other than what the most obvious thing is there. So that's one thing that got me thinking about there's always more juice. And then another thing that happened this week is my friend Joe Gore, he has a great blog called Tone Fiend, Tonefiend. And as the name suggests, he mostly talks about tone stuff. He builds pedals, so sometimes he'll demonstrate his crazy fuzz pedals. He has done some stuff where he does kind of experimental wiring of guitars with different tone circuits and different pickups and different configurations. It's really interesting. But interspersed between, you know, the Tone Fiend stuff, there's always a surprise here or there. And one of his recent posts had to do with mutant Travis picking. So Travis picking, if you don't know, is that kind of thing. And I'm sure some of you who are folk guitar aficionados may write in and say, well, that's not Travis picking. Travis picking is blah, blah. I'm just generally speaking, that's Travis picking. The name comes from Merle Travis, who's a great country guitar player. When you hear that alternating bass thing and syncopated melodic stuff up in the upper part of the chord, to me that's Travis picking. So What Joe did, which is cool, what makes it mutant, is that he experimented with what if you started that pattern, instead of starting it on the downbeat, what if you started on the second 16th note of the bar, or the third 16th note, or the fourth 16th note. And so if somebody walks in the room and just hears you playing, they're not going to really know where you hear the downbeat in your head. It's going to sound the same. He's not changing the pattern. He's just changing where it sits in the groove. And to make it really clear, he's got a little drum machine playing along. You hear the beat, which is, more or less a, rock drum beat. And then you hear this pattern kind of get recontextualized. And I thought that was really cool. I'll include a link down below, but I'll also tell you what it is. It's tonefiend.com/technique/mutant_Travis, Travis. So you can find it there. That got me thinking about one of my favorite things to work on when I'm working on right hand technique, which are these 120 arpeggios exercises by Mauro Giuliani, who was around in the late 1700s and early 1800s. I don't have a drum machine, I just have my handy little Korg metronome. I think I just swallowed a bug. Okay. I don't want you to write in and say that this vlog, whatever, is cruel to bugs. Anyway, there we go. Protein shot. Here's Mauro Giuliani right-hand arpeggio number 2. It's very simple. He uses 2 chords, a C chord and a kind of a G7 chord with B on the bottom, D and F on top, and open G here. Okay. So this is pattern number 2. Goes on like that. That's it. Just repeats. And inspired by Joe Gore's Mutant Travis picking, I thought, what if we tried Mutant Giuliani picking? And that would be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then you could start it on so I'm starting now on the second of the 3 triplets. Same pattern, but just thinking about the beat differently. Now I'm going to try starting on the 3rd triplet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Might help if you count along out loud. I don't know if I can count out loud and play this at the same time, but if you try it, you'll hear how it's displaced. 3, 4, 1. Anyway, you get the idea. So that's one way to get more juice out of it. Now you've got different ways to displace the rhythm. Also, I've found it could be interesting just to move. What if you just move this up to F instead of C? And now we'll go back to the playing it as written. So my left hand is going to make the same 2 shapes, but because I've moved up to F now, it's just going to sound totally different. So it'll be like this: 3, 4. sit in proper technique style. It's still hard. Anyway, that would be something to work on for me. Guitar tips just for me. You could do it starting on the G, alternating between G and D7. Another variation would be, instead of C and G7, you could play A minor and E7, So your right hand is still on the same strings. The chord has changed, but the right hand is doing the same thing. So these are just some way, and I haven't changed. I've only gotten up to Etude number 2 here. It's a tiny little piece of music. It's 2 bars long with repeats, and but we've gotten a whole bunch of variations out of it, and I'm sure you could come up with many, many others. The point is, there's always more juice. Don't let yourself get bored, or don't let yourself think that you've turned over every rock. There's always another rock to turn over. There's always a little more juice to squeeze out. Yeah, it's endless. Even something that seems small, there's always something new to be learned and enjoyed. So there you go. For guitar tips, let me say the name of it one more time. There's always more juice. There's always more juice. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Okay, for guitar tips, I'm Adam Levy. Stay tuned and take good care.